Over the years, you've seen first overall players that are generational talents that have really reshaped franchises, such as Alexander Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, and even Connor McDavid. Nothing's changing with that. This year, Connor Bedard is the projected, and he will be, the first overall pick in the 2023 NHL entry draft. Let's just take a little bit and look at this guy's stats. This guy's an absolute phenom. This year in the WHL, he currently has 125 points in 51 games. Good for over a goal per game, over an assist per game. He's projected to finish with 140 points, and most impressively in the World Juniors, 23 points in 7 games. So you can really see how a player of Connor Bedard's skill can really turn a franchise around. So what we're going to do today, we're going to rank the past 15 first round selections from best to worst, and let's see how the teams stack up. In today's video, we are going to rank the past 15 first overall picks, excluding the past 2 years, just because Owen Power and Slavkovsky really haven't had a lot of time to play in the NHL, but we will include Laffy Taffy. So that is going to go all the way up to Erik Johnson in 2006, Patrick Kane 2007, Steven Stamkos with the old Tampa Bay Lightning logo, Tavares to the Islanders, and this is when the Edmonton Oilers had 3 straight first round picks: Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, Nail Yakupov. Colorado selects Nathan McKinnon in 2013. Then we get Ekblad 2014, McDavid 2015, Matthews 2016, Nico Hischier, captain of the New Jersey Devils, in 2017, Rasmus Dahlin in 2018, 2019, Jack Hughes, and then of course 2020, Lafreniere. At number 15, I think it's pretty obvious we're going to go with Nail Yakupov, who was supposed to be very, very good for the Edmonton Oilers. If you look at his stats, I mean, coming into the NHL, 101 points with Sarnia in the OHL, then put up 69 points in 42 games, and then had a lockout season in the KHL, where as a youngin', 18 points in 22 games, pretty damn good. And he started off for the Edmonton Oilers pretty good. If we go over to the NHL, 48 games played, 31 points, only a -4, 24 penalty minutes, a little bit of a goon, 10 power play points. But in year number 1, 31 points in 48 games, pretty damn good, especially with a 21 shooting percentage. But year number 2 took a little bit of a step back, 24 points in 63 games. But look at that, -33. And you know, the Oilers were not good during this time, to be fair, but he was exceptionally terrible. The next season, 81 games, 33 points, -35, and then his final season with the Edmonton Oilers, 23 points in 60 games, -16. Came back a little bit, but too little too late. Got dealt to the St. Louis Blues, where he had 9 points in 40 games, and then finally finished his NHL career in Colorado with 16 points in 58 games for a grand total of, in 350 games, -89, 136 points, 62 goals, 74 helpers. And when you're the first overall pick, you just have to be good. There's just nothing you can do about it. You got to be great. He was named the OHL Rookie of the Year. Like, obviously, he was a highly touted prospect. But at number 15, Nail Yakupov. At number 14, next up on the list, Erik Johnson, who was drafted in 2006 with the first overall pick by the St. Louis Blues. And don't get me wrong, Erik Johnson isn't a terrible player. It's just the rest of the list is so damn good. Outside of Nail Yakupov, honestly, I think the rest of them are all serviceable players. Maybe shouldn't have gone as first overall, but still very good players. Looking at Erik Johnson here, this year still playing in the NHL, 51 games, 7 points in the career though, 908 games, which is impressive for a defenseman, with 336 points, and he just loves to send the sin bin as well, 514 points. But in his rookie season, 33 points, he was labeled as a shutdown defender. So he's not going to be the guy who goes and puts up 65 points, 70 points, 80 points, that type of stuff. He's really there to lock it down. And in year number 1, 33 points, 39 points, 19 points. As you can see, though, there was a lot, and I mean a lot, of injury problems, especially early on, where year 2 he played a lot, year 1 he played a lot, but skipping out on year 3, year 4, year 6, you know, all of these games are adding up. He does miss a lot of time, but Overall, Erik Johnson has been a very serviceable NHL defenseman in his career, as mentioned, 336 points in 908 games. And just to look at what he was doing before entering the NHL, he's playing on the University of Minnesota, where he had 24 points in 41 games in the NCAA. So definitely a really serviceable player, and that will be our number 14 selection, Erik Johnson. Number 13 on the list is number 13, Alexis Lafreniere. I was going to put him at 14, but we'll give him a break. He hasn't been in the league too long, but so far this year, 32 points in 66 games, really starting to come on to his own. The problem was everyone had him as a generational talent. He's going to change your franchise, and his expectations were just so damn high. Although I will say in the playoffs, he was a beast, and rightly so. Alexis Lafreniere coming into the league was, holy damn, we need to win this draft lottery because this guy's going to make our team go to the next level. But so far in his career, 201 games played, 84 points, so under half a point per game. But you got to also remember, he's playing on the third line of a very, very, very good New York Rangers team, where he's not getting first line power play time either, unlike most of the rest of the first overall picks. But in year number one, very underwhelming, 21 points in 56 games. Year number two, 31 points in 79 games, so obviously not the greatest, but he kind of turned around, +2, and then year three already setting a career high in points on one of the most stacked teams in the NHL. But if we go to the playoffs, 9 points in 20 games. Like he was producing in the playoffs, -3, faceoff percentage not looking good, but he is not a centerman. But Alexis Lafreniere was an absolute beast. At number 12, we are throwing Nico Hischier in. Honestly, for 12, 11, and 10, I wasn't too sure about the order. I ended up going Hischier at number 12, but you can make a case for him to be 11 or 10. He's 24 years old, drafted in 2017 by the New Jersey Devils, and he is now the captain of the New Jersey Devils. So definitely a player that is every season just getting better and better. And honestly, him at 12 doesn't mean he sucks. He is a phenomenal player, and I'm a real big fan of Nico Hischier, especially this year. Look at this, 61 points in 66 games. As I'm saying this, I kind of want to bring him up. +28 in his career, 267 points in 366 games. Any awards, there it is. He has in the 2016-2017 award, he has the E.J. Maguire Award of Excellence. Honestly, not even too sure what that is, but in his career, 52 points. 47, 36, 11 with the injuries, and in the last 2 years he's been very good. 60 points and 61, and this is the first time the Devils they're looking like Stanley Cup contenders at this point. They're gonna make the playoffs. How far are they gonna go? Who knows? But that is gonna be Nico Hischier coming in at number 12. At number 11, Rasmus Dahlin of the Buffalo Sabres, drafted in 2018 by the Buffalo Sabres. He is having his career year this year, really stepping up. 6'3", 202 pounds. He's a big boy, only 22 years old, but he's on pace for a Norris potential campaign. It's tough with Erik Karlsson and a lot of the other guys, Adam Fox, Victor Hedman, but 63 points in 62 games on a team that isn't the greatest, still fighting for a playoff spot. He's really stepped up his game this year. He's got a little bit of an edge to him too, 82 penalty minutes, but 223 points in 339 games on a team like the Buffalo Sabres, who have been very bad for a long time, haven't seen the playoffs in years. This is pretty impressive stats for a defenseman of his stature. So looking at his last 5 games, not very pretty, but we'll go into 44 points, 40 points in 59 games, which was an incredible season. Only 4 goals, though, as you can see this year, in 3 more games, has 10 more goals. Then he had 23 points, still not the greatest season. Last year, 53 points, and then this year, he took a massive jump, over a point per game, +16, so a plus player for the first time in his career. So Rasmus Dahlin is going to come in at number 11. At number 10, this one might be a little bit biased because I do love this player and I love the Edmonton Oilers, but Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the entire NHL. Even though I have him at 10, the players above him are just absolute units and beasts out there, but Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I'm going to throw in at number 10, drafted in 2011, so one of the older players on this list, 29 years old, still looks like he's 18 years old though. This year is having his best year by far, 82 points. in 68 games, albeit 44 power play points playing with McDavid, Draisaitl. It does help, but still, he's having a great year. He plays penalty kill for them. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife, if you will. He does everything. Power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5, 4-on-4, whatever you want, Ryan Nugent Hopkins can do in his career. 610 points in 787 games, minus 40 on the career, which is not pretty, but the first couple of years, he was just mediocre. By mediocre, still very good. Year one was fantastic. 51 points, 62 games. Took a step back, couple of years in a row, but really started turning it on towards the later half of his career. 69 points, 61 points, 35, 50 points last year. And then, of course, this year, 82 points. The issue is he has had some injuries here and there. Just like last year, only 63 games. The year before this was the shortened season. And then we had 65, so 62, 55. He has had these injuries, but Ryan Nugent Hopkins is a solid, and I mean solid, second line center for almost any team in the league and is an elite playmaker. Number 9 on the list is one of the kids that gives the absolute best post-game interviews or interviews at all. The kid's just a beauty. Jack Hughes, drafted in 2019, having once again a career year. It's kind of the theme of this video, but 188 points in 229 games played. But this year, 37 goals in 63 games, good for 80 points, and once again, one of the players leading the New Jersey Devils to the first ever playoff run, and not ever, first playoff run in the most recent years, but Jack Hughes is an absolute beauty. I love this kid. He's so fun to watch. His hands are magical, his shot's beautiful, and he once played a 7-minute shift. What more can you say? The kid, he just lights it up, but in his rookie season, 21 points, then 31 points. People were starting to call him a bust at this point. They're like, okay, what is he going to do anything? The next year, 56 points, over a point per game, but minus 16. Kind of not what we're looking for, but this year, he's turned it on to a completely whole nother level. 80 points in 63 games, as mentioned, plus 9 for the first time in his career. And, Jack Hughes, you don't have any postseason experience yet, but this year, show me what you got in the postseason. We got you at number 9, and you can only climb this list. At number 8, we have one of my favorite World Juniors players of all time, outside of Jordan Eberle and John Tavares, and even Ryan Ellis. I loved Ryan Ellis. That guy was an absolute beauty for Team Canada in the World Juniors. But we got Taylor Hall. He was drafted in 2010 by the Edmonton Oilers with one of the 3 straight first overall selections. 31 years old now. He's getting old on the Boston Bruins. But let's not forget what Taylor Hall did 5, 6, 7 years ago. He's even still putting up great points this year. But still, back in the day, Taylor Hall, he was a Hart Trophy winner. And that is not easy to do in the NHL, being the most valuable player. This year, 58 games played, 36 points, plus 12 in his career, almost 700 points in 819 games. But the big thing here is the Hart Trophy in 2017, 2018, Hart Trophy winner with the New Jersey Devils, where if we go 2017, 2018, 93 points in 76 games. But early in his career, he was doing what he had to do. 42 points, 53, kind of hovering over and around that point per game. Kind of slacked off towards the end of his career in Edmonton. 38 points, 65. Got flipped for Adam Larson, 1-for-1, where he went to New Jersey. Year 1 was okay, then gets the Hart Trophy, and eventually moves to Arizona, Buffalo, and then finally lands on the Boston Bruins, where he's been a very good player for a team that has the best record in NHL history. So, he's definitely a factor on that team. Plays on the power play, is one of the fastest players when he gets those feet moving. So we are going to have Taylor Hall at number 8. For number 7, we have Aaron Ekblad. This honestly is a complete mistake. I would put Aaron Ekblad right above Hischier, right below Hischier at 13. But let's talk quickly about Aaron Ekblad. He definitely should not be above Taylor Hall, Jack Hughes, and Dahlin, maybe even Nugent Hopkins, but definitely messed up this selection. But Aaron Ekblad drafted in 2014, and again, I'm not saying Aaron Ekblad's bad. I'm just saying he is not what everyone thought he would be. He is an absolute stud, though. Look at that. That's a handsome fella right there. But 6'4", shutdown defender, 215. This year, 28 points in 56 games, but minus 17. The Florida Panthers are having an uncharacteristically bad year. Everyone thought they were going to be a contender this year, but it's not looking that way. But last year, 57 points in 61 games, so just an offseason here, but he was a plus 38, 22 points, 41. He has been a point-producing defenseman. You could have him a little bit higher on the list, but again, I think Taylor Hall is definitely over him. This is an oversight. I'm so sorry. And yeah, don't kill me in the comments. Thank you very much. He did win the Calder Trophy in 2014, 2015. Did need to note that. Into the top 6. At 6, we have Mr. John Tavares, one of my favorite players in the World Juniors. Now that he's on the Leafs, not so much one of my favorite players, but drafted to the first overall first round on the New York Islanders, and Tavares has been a point-producing machine his entire life, and it's saying something when John Tavares is number 6 on this list. He can easily be number 3, 4, 2, however you want it. The only thing kind of holding him back, in my opinion, is no awards. He hasn't won any individual awards, any team awards, so kind of holding him back there. This year, point per game, 65 points in 65 games, 30 goals, 35 helpers, and did I mention captain of the toughest team to be a captain of, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Looking at his stats, though, I mean, he's been a beast. Yeah, 54, 67, 81, 86 there, 84, 88. Then coming to Toronto, 60, over a point per game in his career in Toronto, essentially. 960 points in 1,014 games. The only thing is a minus 25, but that's due to mostly early in his career. With Toronto, somehow has had 2 negative seasons, even though they've been really good. But John Tavares will come in at numero 6. At number 5, I have his teammate Austin Matthews, who I'm definitely going to receive flack for having him at number 5, but it's honestly strictly because the players above him are undeniable. You have to have them above Austin Matthews. Matthews might be a little bit more talented than a couple of them, but they are Stanley Cup champions. They're just beasts. When you hear their names, you're going to understand. But Austin Matthews, one of the most elite players in today's NHL, 524 points in 466 games played. So over a point per game in his career. He's having a slow season, and a slow season for him is still over a point per game, 67 points in 59 games. Drafted in 2016, Austin Matthews has not disappointed, and this is not a shot at Matthews. He is an incredible player. It's just the players above. I had to put him above him. So we got Matthews, 69 points, 63 points. So ever since first year in the league, he's been over a point per game. And then the big year was last year, 73 games, 60 goals, 106 points. Really setting some crazy records there. Going into the awards, he's won a lot. The Maurice Rockershard Trophy twice in 2020-21 and then 21-22. He's got the Ted Lindsay last year, the Hart Trophy last year, and the Calder Trophy in 2016-2017. Realistically, the Hart Trophy should have went to Connor McDavid last year, but I'll let it slide. Matthews at numero 5. Sorry, Leafs fans. At number 4, we have the captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning, one of the most elite snipers, turned playmaker somehow, Steven Stamkos, drafted in 2008 by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Steven Stamkos once rumored to go to the Toronto Maple Leafs, but signed the extension to the Tampa Bay Lightning. But look at his stats. This is what I mean. Players like Austin Matthews are phenomenal, but someone like Steven Stamkos has been doing this for 10, 12 years now, 13 years, something like that, and he has been electric every one of those years. And the crazy part about Steven Stamkos is he's had multiple injuries where it's like, is he ever going to come back and be the same player? And every time he comes back and he shuts down the doubters. This year, 66 points in 67 games, so still just hovering around that point per game. In his career, 1,038 points in 1,000 games. So over a point per game in his career. Look at this, 95, 50 goals there, 91, 97. Injuries killed him in this portion of his career. And right here, where I remember he went knee first into the post. That was heartbreaking. He finally got back to his regular self and then gets injured. But look at this, 97. He had a 60-goal campaign there. And then somehow he's turned to a playmaker now. So he went from 60 goals to 60 assists. And then 98 points. And then last year, coming off his best season ever, 106 points, where he scored 40 goals and had 60 helpers. He's been a beast. And the big part is he performs in the playoffs. 19 points, 18 points, 16 points, 18 points, 13 points. In the playoffs, Stammers is coming and he is performing every time. And there it is. Another reason why he's so high on this list. A 2-time Stanley Cup champion, probably like a 4-time President's Trophy winner as the captain, and a 2-time Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy. Stammers, you are a beauty. At number 3, we have one of the kids from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Nathan McKinnon, one of Sidney Crosby's best friends, and he plays like it. Drafted in 2013 by the Colorado Avalanche and still on the Colorado Avalanche. Nathan McKinnon has been a force ever since entering the NHL. 27 years old now, still very young and has lots left in him. This year, 81 points in 54 games, so he's a point-producing machine, just like almost everyone else on this list. 729 points in 692 games, so just over a point per game, but it's really been the last 3-4 years where he has become one of the most electric players in the entire NHL. Going down to his stats, 63, 38, had a little bit of injuries there, 52, 53, and then here's when he turned the corner. 97, 99, 93, 65, 88, and 81. These last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, he has become one of the world's best players day in and day out. And the best part, just like Stammers, once it's playoff time, you're going to expect that not Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon comes out and absolutely shreds. 13 points, 25 points, 15 points, 24 points, 93 points in 70 games, 41 goals in the playoffs. That's ridiculous. And obviously go down to the awards. He's got 3 of them, led by the Stanley Cup. You gotta have that in there. The Lady Byng, and then the Calder Trophy. And he's just gonna keep collecting hardware for the Colorado Avalanche and probably will win another Stanley Cup. At number 2, we have one of the best ever American-born NHL players, Patty Kane, drafted in 2007 by the Chicago Blackhawks for the first time ever, switching teams this year. I see my lovely Ottawa Senators in there. Look at that. Timmy Stu, Claude Giroux, love those boys. But Patrick Kane, 34 years old now, and every time Patrick Kane steps on the ice, it's magic. Search up his highlight reel. You're going to see things that you didn't even know were possible on skates or with a hockey stick or even with a puck. 1,230 points in 1,167 games. And the big thing was, how is an undersized Patrick Kane going to produce in the NHL? Well, this is exactly how he's going to do it, just by being better than everyone. But look at his stats. 72 points. There's so many crazy numbers here. 106, 110. I mean, we can go through individually every year, but you know what you're getting from Patrick Kane. Just someone who is electric and performs just like the other two very well in the postseason. 23 points, 20 points, 19 points, 132 points in the postseason, which is ridiculous, and has 136 games, which is also ridiculous. And the big thing with Patrick Kane, why I probably edged him out over Nathan McKinnon, is, where is it? Stanley Cup. He is a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, Calder Memorial Trophy winner, Conn Smythe winner, Hart Trophy winner, Ted Lindsay winner, and Art Ross Trophy. Honestly, you can make an argument for number 1 for Patrick Kane, but we all know who number 1 is. In my opinion, this is the greatest talent to ever touch an NHL rink. It is Connor McDavid, number 1. Individually talented wise, no one's close to him. Connor McDavid is so disgusting out there. Drafted in 2015 when the Edmonton Oilers won the draft lottery. Connor McDavid has been an absolute phenom every single time he steps on the ice. The big thing that's missing from him is a Stanley Cup. And obviously, Edmonton, they often disappoint, but McDavid has never disappointed. Individually, look at his stats. This year, 129 points in 68 games. Yeah, you heard that right. 129 points in 68 games. 826 points in 555 games. The points per game this guy produces every single season is unheard of. In his last 5 games, oh my God, he had 0 points one game. I can't believe it. It's a miracle. 48 points, 100 points for the rest of his career. If he played 1 more game here, 2 more games, he would add the 100 points. 48, never been under a point per game, 100 points, 108 points, 116, 105, 123, and this year already set a career high in both goals and assists, which means he's only getting better somehow. Actually, he's 2 behind for his career high in assists, but he will break it. Actually, he's 6 behind, or 5 behind. 6, yeah, 6. 129 points. So McDavid is only getting better, which is the scary part. And people who say he doesn't perform in the playoffs, take a look at his stats. 9 points in 4 games, 4 points. And then last year when they went on the run, 33 points in 16 games. I mean, I know it sounds biased, but Connor McDavid is the best player the NHL has to offer right now and potentially has ever seen. Make the argument if you want, but let's take a look at his awards. So 4-time award winner of the Art Ross Trophy, 3-time award winner of the Ted Lindsay, 2-time Hart Trophy Memorial winner. So you do your things. I got Connor McDavid number 1, but let me know down in the comments below who you think is the best, and I mean the best player in the NHL from first overall picks in the past 15 years. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Have a nice day, and see you later. Go Sens, go.